County Fair sold hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands, of these tops. Eric has had real good luck selling tops in his booth. It does seem to be a very popular item for events like that. You know, any event, particularly where there's a lot of kids coming through. So we're gonna get into this full speed ahead. So again, there's about 100 blanks here. I really don't want to take them home. So everybody pick up what you would like to at least get started with. Now, the story on these is fairly simple. If you look at videos on YouTube, you'll see a lot of people turning tops out of a blank that's, you know, maybe 6 inches, 2 to 3 inches on a side. And they basically throw away all that wood and come out with something like this. So again, in the San Diego Club, we wanted to do some production turning. So the idea was to just do a disc for the body of the top and glue a dowel in to make the handle. And you get a lot of mileage out of the wood. So again, Frank has a lot of those blanks back there, and they're easy to deal with. I think a lot of them already have a tenon on them. But so what I did was using this lathe, I found that I could manage about a 7 to 8 inch piece. If it's already turned round, you probably still want to true it up, just because that's what we do, and it makes life a little bit easier. Put a tenon on one end, and then just in a Jacob's chuck, put your drill bit in and drill the hole. Now, these are standard 3/8 inch dowels. If you use a 3/8 inch drill bit, it doesn't work. Okay, it's a pretty sloppy fit. So I measured the dowel and I thought, this is really, really close to 10 millimeters. Let me get a 10 millimeter drill. I got a 10 millimeter drill. In fact, I got 2 of them because it was a good deal. But anyhow, that's not a great fit either. And I did some more research, and there's actually a drill bit called a W. And I'm going, where am I going to find these? Same story of Jim's. I went to Amazon. There's a W drill bit, cost me $8 and was at my doorstep the next day. So size W drill bit for a 3/8 inch dowel. It's a very snug fit, very snug. Put a little tight bond and you've got yourself a blank. Okay, so there are 2 ways to put this on your lathe. One would be a Jacob's chuck. And you can, the problem is it only goes in that far. So you've got to turn that, you really have to support this end. And you can, there's, what I like is a one-way live center with the pin removed, and that fits over the end of that dowel very nicely. The only problem is it's hard to really get in there with the tool and finish that off. So another way to do it is to, if you have to use the Jacob's chuck, is to leave the pin in there. You probably, if you do that, you probably want to leave a little bit more of this sticking out, probably a good 1/2 inch, because that pin is going to, you know, it's going to split and bruise the wood. But that's workable. Okay.
Does the dowel have to be that long?
Pretty much, and you'll see why. Because when you're turning the inside of it, you got to be able to get to it. So the dowels were cut to 4 inches long.
So the ideal overhang on the other end is what? The short end, what are you going?
Well, I think a 1/4 inch, if you're gonna, if you have, if you can set it up this way. I think a 1/2 inch if you need to use the pin. But a little bit of fooling around will tell you what works, but I think with this, it's tough to get in there to finish that point on it. So what's really, I think the way to go. Is you have a regular chuck with the what they call them, spigot or pin jaws,
Mhm.
and as long as it'll close down to less than 3/8 of an inch, they work great. So that would be the method of choice. And this, you can start out with that all the way in there. And so turning the bottom of the top, bottom of the top, and the end is very easy. You got great support on that. So why don't we go ahead and try one and see what I blow up here. And I think the whole project can be done with a spindle gouge. You really don't need anything else. Yeah. There's no. You know, the size is up to you. If you have a blank this size and you want to cut it down, just turn it down. Most of these, the thickness is on these is between 1/2 and 5/8 of an inch. 5/8 is probably a little bit better. Looks like I picked out the thickest one then. When you turn this tip on it, probably a lot of you will look at that blue line and not like that. It's not really a big deal because you can easily hide that. And the temptation, I think, for most of us, is to make that point a little pointy. It's really not what you want. Doesn't need to be pointy at all, and then if you kind of burnish it, that seems to help harden this. So, no, it's a little bit rough. Another nice thing about this project is you really don't need to do much in the way of sanding. I think most of us are gonna do some coloring and embellishment. You know, if you wanna hit it, a lot of times we'll hit it with like a 150 and a 220. Especially if you're gonna be doing any embellishing. You're gonna be going over that with some sort of texture. Let's try that. Okay. There's two ways to end up like that. You can put colors on and then do some texturing, or you can texture and then put the colors on. I've tried it both ways. I don't really see a whole lot of difference. I think depending on what tool you use for the texturing, probably putting the coloring on first, it works a little bit better. So let's try some of that. So when you're at the fair or whatever, you know, you should have a supply of some colors. These are just Sharpies. And let's try a few. When you're coloring with these Sharpies or the brush pen, always keep it pointed down. That way it won't, you won't wreck the tip. Again, you can always sort of hide that blue line if you want. If you're at the fair, you know, you're making it easy. You know, a kid comes up to the booth, you can let the kid pick the colors for the top they're making.
For an extra $5.
Yeah. Okay, so for embellishing or texturing, we've got a few items here. I think this is the most idiot-proof, the Wagner. It's just, if anybody tried this before, you really can't speed this one up too bad. You just it'll find itself. See that. There's all sorts of homemade tools, chatter tools. This is one just made out of a drywall screw, and you kind of do this one backwards, and you want to come in from a little bit of an angle and make some noise. Hear that ugly noise, we know that it's working. And it makes this one makes a very fine pattern. Of course, the gold standard, I guess, is the Sorby texturing tool. And this has all sorts of variations to it. That's a nice pattern.
Yeah.
I like that. And. Cleaning up a little bit. For a finish on these, there's really not much of a finish. A little bit of carnauba wax works great. Just it doesn't really look like you're putting anything on there, but you are. And then just buff that a little bit. And that's good to go. Okay. The trick now is doing the other side of it. So you want to probably have at least a ½ an inch in the chuck and bring up your live center to support that. And you'll, that's running pretty true. I think I can live with that. The challenge here is coming in this way. As you will see, it doesn't work real well. Yeah, you got to get creative. I don't know if you can see, but I'm just about to bang into that stuff. As you get very far in there, you're going to bang into it. So the other solution is to finish that off left-handed. It's certainly doable. You know, like me, it's a little bit strange at first, but I don't have much coordination in my left hand. That's all there is to that. One important point, don't leave any sharp edges. Okay, kids are going to be playing with it, so round over the edge. Be sure you might want to put that with the sandpaper. Now, you can do some texturing on this side. It doesn't go quite as easily. I don't think the Wagner tool works at all. I don't think you can get in there. Another homemade tool is just like a Dremel type burr that spins in this wood and you can make up something like this for next to nothing. That actually makes a nice pattern. The Sorby is a little tricky on this side. I think if you run it in reverse though, you can make that work. Yeah. We can some more colors on. And you gotta make a handle.
Going with this. He was still going with this.
I'm sorry.
He was gonna still go in reverse. Because
Oh, right. So. I think as a general rule, you probably want the handle to be about an inch, not much more than that. Okay, you don't want the top to be top heavy. And you can just. Again, get as creative as you want with that. Without even trying, you can do little beads and toes and whatnot. If you, Eric and I were talking about this before, if you make it too thin, it gets kind of fragile. There's sort of a sweet spot there. Yeah. Too thick or too long. And they just don't spin very well. And then before you finish it up. Yeah, you hit it with the 220. So color on that. And again, you have a glue joint there that might not look great, so just kind of hide it. Nobody will ever know. Carnauba. Hope everybody's paying attention because we're going to have some volunteers come up and hang some pots here. Okay, and then part it off. And you can part it off all the way and catch it, or not catch it, and or get it down to that, and then just twist it off, and hit it. Sandpaper. Then you got pop.
Very good.
So I need a volunteer. I need a volunteer. Come on. Come on. Somebody. Come on. Got a whole bag full. There, all right, yeah.
You may not be clapping after.
Let's chuck one up for you here.
Have you ever had one hit the back wall?
Not yet, but there's a
First to see that.
first time for everything. There's like spindle gouges, whatever.
Okay.
Whatever. Your fancy.
Pretty nice. So we're gonna see about. Bringing the tailstock up first, is that?
For this part, you don't need to.
Okay.
For this-
I agree with this.
Yeah,
Question for you, I was watching you do that, why don't you put the dowels through further on this, on the bottom side? That way you can turn it around and cut the side, the top side on off on the right side. You're gonna cut off that piece anyway,
okay,
well, can I show you?
yeah,
Make the stub longer on the other side, on the top of it, stub.
See, to me, if I was to do this, after watching you, I would make this piece right here longer. Okay, and then I would install this like this, so you can do this top. Without having to worry about hitting it from the backside. Because you're gonna cut this off anyway.
It just costs you a little more dowel, but you got.
Yeah. I mean, look how much dowel you got there. What are you cutting off right about to here?
right.
So if you put this in the center. Okay, and then work on your top first from the right side. Okay, because then you're gonna turn it around and you still got this, then you can work on your bottom and you can cut this off to whatever length you want.
You're gonna have
But
to
then
turn
you-
the handle at some
You need
point.
a.
You
chuck
will,
that's
just
gonna
like you do
close
now.
down. A chuck that's gonna close down much shorter.
As soon as Jim's done, you can show us.
Yeah.
Oh, you got one.
So we're gonna show this first.
But you see what I'm saying?
This is the first time I've seen this. You heard it. And then these would be done with the- This one was on top of there, and this is nice time to. Right?
Yeah, yeah, that's great.
I would put one thing up.
Yeah, I think. Actually, it's tempting to make a nice big point to us. Really fairly.
Wait, send it this way.
Oh, okay.
Not cookies to talk.
Sure. Yeah.
That's certainly something. But. I'm gonna see.
It's in sure tell.
Put it back on the table. What? Yeah. Sneak back. Oh.
And then I got these here. You take off more.
Well, you can. Well, I just smooth it, because I have enough there so they can. Yeah, you might want to screw it up to that, you might want to go to the edge of the center, and if you want it to be. Match the, you know, this.
I see, I get. Concave.
Okay. Because I heard you talking about some shape. I didn't get it.
I'll just. You can do anything you want.
Little bit of holes. That's a mini. Tabletop layer, mini layers. There's two variations. This is from here to the center on this one, and then there's a spot from here up as in a. It's really cool. But
Maybe. Made those.
even that larger bowl right there, that one right there.
How you doing?
It looks,
Special pull and pull it down.
Yeah, you kind of want to center down. Yeah, this is.
The deltas are. That's why I want to watch. You?
I'm gonna get a lesson here.
You want to be right on.
I'm sending it to Joel.
Yeah, and